Yes. Yes. Perfect. Just wait for a few people to come on. Time now is 1:17 p.m. November 18, 2020. Wednesday, November 18, 2020 here in Vancouver, Canada. So, it looks like Premier Horgan has announced more restrictions in British Columbia, and he's basically calling on more restrictions of non-essential travel across Canada. And he doesn't want anyone coming here from places like Quebec, Ontario, Manitoba. He just wants all the restrictions to pretty much lock down travel unless it's essential. What's essential? Probably work related and stuff like that, I would assume. Let me just get back to this. Now, these are part of the indicators of what's to come. These are, if you don't believe Canada is turning into a communist country, you're going to see it for yourself, and I'll explain why. One of the ways they control people in communist countries is to restrict your travel. I know everything in this situation is based on this big, bad, deadly virus, but my glasses are all bent. I look like a donkey, like, ugh. Basically, how is it they're implementing these measures so many months later? Like, we're talking 9, almost 10 months later now, they're talking about restricting travel. Travel has never been restricted, even from China from day one. It was never, ever restricted. But now they're talking about restricting travel. He's even stating that he wants to restrict travel from the lower mainland into Vancouver Island on the ferries, unless it's essential travel. So, and then I'm going to be showing you this leaked email, and we'll talk about that in a second, and see if the plans listed on there are coming to fruition, because a lot of this stuff looks like it's actually coming true, at least the beginning parts of it, because this whole, the leaked memo or leaked info, leaked email, whatever you want to call it, discusses a whole game plan right into 2021. Now, is this 100% true? Well, we don't know yet, because obviously we're not in 2021. This leaked memo, leaked email, whatever you want to call it, was brought to many people's attention. All the conspiracy theorists, right? All those crazy people living in our mom's basements, hiding out in closets and all that stuff, right? In the dark with our tinfoil hats. All us kind of people saw this information back in October. Well, me personally, I basically saved that as a PDF file so I could actually look at it periodically to see if things were coming to fruition. So we're going to go through that in a minute, but I'm just going to show you what Horgan said, or what the article states today. Where is it? There it is. So this is, let me just show you. This is from today. He just came out a couple hours ago. We'll just read through it. So COVID-19, BC Premier calls for restrictions of non-essential travel in Canada. Obviously, he's calling for this. Doesn't mean he's going to get. He's basically making he's making a plea to all the other premiers and also to Prime Minister Trudeau to restrict travel all across Canada, essentially creating a kind of a lockdown. All of these are lockdown measures. They don't have to come out and tell you this is part of their lockdown implementation. Understand that. They don't have to tell you. Just put 2 and 2 together. If you can't go someplace, if you can't go to your favorite restaurant, if you can't go to yoga class, if your kids can't go to dance studio, or if you can't travel to Vancouver Island or other provinces, guess what? These are lockdowns being implemented. The word lockdown does not have to be there for lockdowns to happen. Understand that. Start using your mind critically. Because we're in this mess because a lot of people are like, oh, it's just about a virus. This is temporary, this and that. As I'll show you in the leaked email, I don't think it is temporary. Obviously, I don't think it is. And even without the leaked email being real or not, we know the people in the know realize this is not temporary. Temporary is not 9 months when it was 2 weeks to flatten the curve in March. Dr. Bonnie Henry came out with another 2-week thing a week ago stating, we have to have a 2-week lockdown, close things down, gym studios and dance studios and yoga studios, spin classes in order to get things under control. Well, yesterday the cases were over 700 and there was 11 deaths. So are they getting things under control? No, they're not. Not going to talk about the cases and how people are getting tested. Like tens of thousands of people are getting tested to make it appear like we're in a second wave or whatever. But bottom line is we are in a second lockdown. And on Saturday, she should be coming and stating, well, she's going to say that she's actually coming on tomorrow, Thursday, Dr. Bonnie Henry, and she's going to basically implement more lockdowns, as you will see. It's just part of their plan. Slow rollout, slow rollout, slow rollout. They're not going to tell you we're going to have 3 months of a lockdown. They do it in increments of 2 weeks, of a month. Close this business. We'll close that business. But hey, the first business you close isn't open anymore. All the restaurants around here are at 50% capacity since March. Will those businesses be able to go into 2021 with that? I know they're getting certain people doing takeout, ordering food, picking up and all that stuff. Is it going to be enough? I don't know. But anyways, I'm veering off in different directions because there's really so much stuff to talk about on a daily basis to prove all of this is not what they tell us it is. And I'm trying to use my words wisely because YouTube loves to hit the hammer very easily. There is censorship. You just don't know about it because you don't do fuck all. All you do is think we're a bunch of nut jobs when we're trying to tell you what the hell's going on. But we're crazy getting censored left and right. Why would they want to censor someone like me if I'm just making up bullshit? If I'm just if everything I'm saying is just nonsense, why censor me? Who cares? He's just a crazy crackpot. Let him speak. No one's going to believe him. No one's going to listen to his nonsense because it's all lies. Or is it all lies? Maybe it's not. Anyways, I ranted for a little bit there, didn't I? So, BC Premier John Horgan says Canada needs a national strategy to discourage non-essential travel between provinces. So this guy's trying to make it seem like he runs all of Canada, and now he's coming on stating that we need a national strategy to basically lock down the provinces. If you can read between the lines, that's exactly what he's saying. Calling on other premiers, right? So they need a national strategy to discourage non-essential travel. How are you going to discourage it? You're going to start giving people fines? Are you going to have military checkpoints, police checkpoints at every provincial line? I don't know. We're going to see what these people come up with because they're going to do something. Once they start talking like this, they're going to have an outcome. They don't just say that for shits and giggles. They're saying this for a specific reason. So here it says John Horgan, who's the Premier of British Columbia, says he'll be calling on Prime Minister Trudeau to implement a pan-Canadian approach to limit travel within the country. We need to make sure that those who want to come to BC must do so only if it's essential for their business or well-being. So now we're not allowed to go anywhere across Canada. We're not really allowed to go into the States. Well, we can fly into the States, no problem right now. And we can fly into the States. It doesn't have to be essential. We can do whatever we want, flying anywhere across the world from what I know of. This one is a little bit telling. What I'm suggesting is that the people of Quebec, Ontario, and Manitoba, these are supposedly provinces that have been the hardest hit from COVID-19, need to know that they should stay in Quebec, Ontario, and Manitoba until we get to a place where we can start distributing a vaccine across the country. So basically, like Monica has said, like Odessa has stated, Facebook friends, they were essentially right, and I kind of brushed it off, and I'm like, that does make sense, that unless we get to a place where we can start distributing a vaccine across the country. What does that tell you? Let's read between the lines. Not too hard to read between these lines. Basically, they don't want us traveling anywhere until we all get vaccinated. What does that mean? It means we can't travel until we get vaccinated. That's the bottom line. Like I've been saying for years, literally years, and now their Premier of BC has basically come out and said it. until we get to a place where we can start distributing a vaccine across the country. So travel will not be allowed until we get vaccinated. Wow. That's a pretty big, shocking, very telling statement from our premier. So we cannot travel, is what he's telling us, until we get a vaccine. When it comes out, and he's thinking early next year into 2021. So once again, the conspiracy theorists look like they're right. Obviously, this is going to be travel restrictions across the world. No one's going to be able to come here, and we're not going to be able to go there until everybody gets vaccinated. Here's the problem. As I've done other videos, global news having polls and stuff like that, the polls showed at least 60% of the people don't want to take this vaccine. Most people I've talked to, even if they're wearing a mask, don't want to take it. So, like I've said to lots of people, I pretty much talk about this garbage all day. Either there's going to be a huge awakening next year, or we're all going to be screwed. And my bet's on there being a massive awakening where even the people wearing masks thinking all this is temporary, I'm just going to put up with it because I don't want to get hassled when I go into Costco or Walmart or wherever it is. Those people are going to realize, holy shit, you mean to tell me now I need to get a vaccine to travel? Obviously, that's the first step, and it will continue from there. So, that's my prediction, but here it is in black and white. Our own Premier Horgan basically stated exactly what many people have discussed for many, many years. Many years. Buying or selling. Book of Revelations. I'll go to that in a minute, but so he's imploring British Columbia to take seriously the rise of cases. Yes, cases, because tens of thousands of people are getting tested. Just because you're considered you're a case, you have a COVID case, doesn't mean you're sick. It doesn't mean anything. It just means you tested positive based on their, a software program, based on their technique of identifying COVID, which has a lot of false positives, and which, in my opinion, seems like some kind of rigged system in order to implement all of their agenda. Hey, you're a positive case. We're going to add you to the batch of 700 people in British Columbia. And that's how they're ramping up all of these restrictions. It's all based on cases. 11 people did die yesterday. That could be a number of things. It could be from the flu because, of course, COVID, in my opinion, is a form of the flu. The people dying were from old care homes, meaning they've got to be at least over 70. The large majority, I don't know what percentages, usually over 80 in care homes with underlying issues. This is the same story I've been talking about for months. This is the same story across the whole world where it's the same type of persona, same people, care homes, people over 80, underlying issues across the world. And it's always been like this. Nothing has changed. Healthy people do not die from this, right? They just don't. So 11 people have died. Here's the thing. They've been pushing the flu vaccine for the last 2 months. Everyone go and get your flu vaccine. I've even seen commercials targeting indigenous people specifically to get the flu vaccine. Why are they pushing so hard for everybody to get the flu vaccine? Why do they care about everybody so much this year to take the flu shot? They've never had such a push, an information propaganda push in years past. Why this year? And if you realize this, and I know this firsthand because my friend told me this, and I know from my mother-in-law, first you need to realize the flu vaccine, like all these vaccines, has the live virus in it. My mother-in-law took it 2 years in a row. What happened to her? She was very sick both years when she took the flu shot. I saw it for myself. She was on the couch for 3 or 4 days. She couldn't move or anything. Now, if you're an older person in your 70s or 80s and you have underlying issues and you get the flu shot, is there going to be a big possibility that you might get sick from the flu shot? My friend gets the flu shot every year, the dummy that he is. He says, oh yeah, every year I take it. I get sick for 4 or 5 days, but then I feel great the rest of the winter. So it really helps me out. And I was like, what? Listen to yourself talk. You took the flu shot, then you got sick for 3 or 4 or 5 days, and you're okay with that. You realize you got sick from the flu shot. Oh, yeah, this is I'm talking to him. He's like, yeah, I know, but it helps me out the rest of the year. Or else, he says, I'm feeling really crappy and sick the rest of the winter. I'm like thinking, it's just some people just don't get it. And I'm still my friend. You got to just let things slide sometimes. I've been warning this guy. He knows everything, but he's like, I would never get the COVID shot. COVID's a flu. Do you realize that? You took the flu shot, which is basically COVID. They go back and forth. It's the same kind of thing. Back to the old people. Old people are dying. 11 people died yesterday. They don't tell us if those people took the flu shot. Could be a possibility they died from the flu as a result of taking that shot. Or maybe they just died from the flu, right? We have no way of telling because the media and everybody else is BSing us on a constant basis. Okay, here. So he says Thursday, the move, which Henry will elaborate. So Dr. Donkey is going to be coming on TV tomorrow on Thursday, and she's going to elaborate on the expansion of BC's current non-essential travel restrictions. So she's going to elaborate, and she's going to expand the non-essential travel restrictions, meaning they're going to restrict our traveling possibilities around British Columbia. And we're going to talk about, like I said, that leaked info. It's recommended for people living in Vancouver Coastal Health and Fraser Health. According to Horgan, non-essential travel within BC will be prohibited for at least 2 weeks. 2 weeks, the minimum thing. Oh, we'll just do 2 weeks. Oh, well, the cases are rising. It's winter. Cases rise in winter. Get a clue. Flu season is November, December, January, February, March. Cases will not go down. It doesn't matter what you do. You can wear your masks in the shower. You can wear your masks when you're gardening. Wear your mask when you're picking your nose by yourself. Cases aren't going down, friends, because they're testing way more people, and it's flu season. COVID is a flu. So non-essential travel within BC is going to be prohibited. So they're doing that intercity, interprovincial lockdown that they're going to be talking about. I'll show you in the leaked email in a sec. If you don't need to travel, don't travel. It's not the time to go storm watching on the west coast of Vancouver Island. Not the time to plan for large gatherings over the Christmas holidays. We need to focus on getting through this winter and getting through the second wave. Second wave. They knew about the second wave in March. How do you know about a second wave when we've never encountered COVID-19 in our life before, but all of a sudden there's a second wave of this? Okay, here. Henry also made a recommendation that people in Metro Vancouver and Fraser Valley don't travel unless it's essential. Okay, here. Dr. Bonnie Henry says those new cases were connected to travel to and from the Lower Mainland. So it's funny. First they restrict restaurants. Then they restrict you can't go to any sporting events. Then they're restricting you can't go to dance studios, classes. Then they restrict bars closing at 11. Then they restrict restaurants at 50% capacity. Now it's because of travel. So slowly they're taking your rights away, right? This is a slow rollout that they're doing. There have been 310 related deaths in the province since the pandemic began. Yeah, 9 months ago. Anyways. Okay, how many people are with me? 49 people. Wow, that's pretty cool. Anyways, so let's go to the leaked email. Now, this is where it comes into what I consider kind of conspiratorial, but, not 100%. But this is where people can make fun of us and call us tinfoil hatters and shit like that. But don't be so fast to judge people. Hey, and also, guys, if you can please start sharing it, share this everywhere. Please do it now. I would appreciate that. Okay, so this is the thing that's been circulating all across the internet for all the tinfoil hat people. Everybody else is too smart to be a tinfoil hat person. Well, you can stay asleep and watch your Netflix show because you're too small to fall for the scams. Meanwhile, you're wearing a mask, and the tinfoil hat people aren't wearing anything except for me because I wear a hazmat suit to make fun of you guys wearing masks. I know I'm such an a-hole, right? Okay, so let's talk about this. Once again, we'll see. This was sent to us, as you can see here, and I made this into a PDF file, and I've uploaded it to docdroid.net, but I have a local version on my computer, but I post it there so then I can share it on various platforms so people have quick information. And okay, is this leaked information really Trudeau's crazy COVID plan should be for 2020, for late 2020 and early 2021? Not early 2021, but 2021. Okay, so this is from Saturday, October the 10th. I want to provide you some very important information. I'm a member within the Liberal Party of Canada. The information is originating from the Strategic Planning Committee, which is steered by the Prime Minister's office. I need to start by saying I'm not happy doing this, but I have to as a Canadian, and more importantly as a parent who wants a better future, not only for my children, but for other children as well. The other reason I'm doing this is because roughly 30% of the committee members are not pleased with the direction this will take Canada, but our opinions have been ignored and they will plan on moving forward towards their goals. They have made it very clear that nothing will stop the planned outcomes. Hope everybody's paying attention. The roadmap and aim was set out by the Prime Minister's office and is as follows. So some of this has rolled out, and that's why I feel that I can share it. Obviously, this is not all rolled out yet. I'm just putting this out there. Doesn't mean it's 100% real. Doesn't mean it's 100% not real, but it's something to look to in the future and also to keep in the back of your mind. For the people who think I'm a crazy person, you know, people from my kids' school, relatives, some friends and frenemies, just use this and take it with a grain of salt. But I'm thinking it's more real than not real. But anyways, let's continue. And I digress. Phase in secondary lockdown. Remember, this is from October. I've been holding this for a little period of time. And if you're not in the know, you probably haven't seen this information. That's your problem because you think we're all nut jobs. Let's continue. So, secondary lockdown restrictions on a rolling basis, meaning, you know, in certain areas it'll happen, other areas not. But starting with major metropolitan areas first and expanding outward, expected by November 2020. This is the timeline we're in, where we're having basically lockdown restrictions, secondary. As secondary means, of course, no dance classes, no indoor sports, no spin classes, no yoga classes, right? That's what they're talking about here. So it's expected by November 2020. We can basically check that off our list. And the acquisition and construction of isolation facilities across every province, expected by December 2020. This is happening. We've already seen the RFP request for a proposal. I have made videos and showing you mainstream articles showing in places like Manitoba, these places have already been created or have already been used. So you can look that up. I'm not going to show the same information over and over. My videos would be hours long. I'm trying to keep them short, but you know, it's hard. Okay, this basically is happening. Daily new cases of COVID will surge beyond capacity of testing, including increases in COVID-related deaths following the same curves. Yesterday we had 11 deaths. That's a new record. We also had a new record of COVID cases yesterday. Expected by end of November 2020. So we're at November 18, not quite at the end, but 3/4 of the way through November. Okay, so complete and total secondary lockdown, much stricter than the first, and second rolling phase restrictions. This is where it starts going into the future. This is where you keep this information in the back of your mind, okay? That's where you keep that. So did I read this part here? Complete and total secondary lockdown, much stricter than the first and second rolling phase restrictions, which basically they are doing rolling phase restrictions. They're restricting our travel into Victoria, outside of British Columbia. They're talking about it. It will happen. Once they talk about something, they make it like it's a suggestion. Well, 2 weeks later, all of a sudden it happens. This is the scenario, and it's how it's been playing out for the last 9 months. 2 weeks turns into 9 months if you haven't figured it out. right? Okay, so this is where it gets more tinfoil hatty, but once again, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, and I think it probably will happen, but I don't know. But you have to look at it. If you're inquisitive, if you want to have an open mind, why wouldn't you look at this information? Better, more information is better than less information, right? Okay, so reform, what is sec here? Reform and expansion of the unemployment program to be transitioned into the universal basic income program. Okay, let's look at this because I know this is 100% fact because, of course, Trudeau already discussed this. Now, you tell me why we need why do we need universal basic income? I want to share this part with you. I'll just go to it and then we'll go back to this. So stop sharing screen and then we'll go over here. Okay, so here we are. Can you see that? Where is that? Why is that not sharing? Fucking thing. Oh, you bastard. Huh. Maybe I'll just stop sharing. Do one more try on that. It's not working. I don't know why. Chrome tab. Weird. Why doesn't that work now? Dang it. Anyways, I'll just read it to you. Liberals are considering a universal basic income, but economists have tough questions for its proponents. The government may have got a taste for doling out checks with the Canadian Emergency, the CERB benefits, which function similar to a basic income. So the bottom line is, why are they going to want to make a universal basic income unless they know that the economy is not going to get back based on the reasons of them destroying the economy, right? I'm going to put this back here to the Liberal League. Why isn't this working? Piss me off. Gotta close some stuff here and see if this helps. One second. Stop. Hold on, guys. Sorry about this. Just trying to share this. Why won't it let me share it? Fucking thing. I guess I'll just read it to you then. I'm not going to stop the live broadcast now. So here it says, so basically that they're going to transition the unemployment program into a UBI program. They called it. You can look this stuff up. This is not conspiracy stuff, obviously. Why would they have to do that? If they stopped all these lockdown measures, obviously the economy could just slowly bounce back. But they know. And why do they need a universal basic income? That means universally everyone's going to be destroyed, right? That's what it means to me. They want to implement this UBI. We already have welfare. Why do we need a universal basic income, like some form of communist country? Why? Because they're going to use it. They're destroying the economy. That's why. So then it says projected COVID-19 mutation with secondary virus referred to as COVID-21. So we'll see if COVID-2021 happens. That'll lead to a third wave. So now they're going to have a third wave leading, which with a much higher mortality rate and higher rate of infection expected by February 2021. So that'll be interesting if that happens. Thing pissed me off. Why is it doing that? So, and then it says here, daily new cases of COVID-21, hospitalizations, and COVID-19 and COVID-21 related deaths will exceed medical care facility capacities. Expected Q1 and Q2 of 2021. That means basically winter and spring of 2021. And then it states, enhanced lockdown restrictions, referred to as third lockdown, will be implemented. Full travel restrictions will be imposed, including inter-provincial and intercity. Expected Q2 2021. They're already going to have travel restrictions, so this timeline to me seems a little bit off. Transitioning of individuals into the UBI, Universal or Basic Income Program, is expected mid Q2 2021. Projected supply chain breakdowns, inventory shortages, large economic instability expected late Q2 2021. Deployment of military personnel into major metropolitan areas as well as major roadways for established travel checkpoints. And I did a video yesterday stating that they were actually talking about how to get the vaccines out, and they stated that they would consider using the military to vaccinate everybody across Canada, the same as our buddy Orange Man in the United States wants to do Operation Warp Speed in the USA. And also Boris Johnson is talking about using the military in order to test everybody in the city of Liverpool. It has a population of about 900,000 people. And from there, they're going to use the same military in order to vaccinate everybody. What happens if we don't want to get vaccinated? 60% of the population apparently doesn't want to get vaccinated. Apparently from global news polls, from what I saw many months ago. So that's going to be really interesting if we're going to have the military on the streets in Vancouver. Is that going to happen? I don't know for sure. I'm just reiterating what this leaked information says. Is it real information that's been leaked? Some of it seems real. We're going to have to see. But this is why I'm sharing it ahead of time, because then if you see a lot of these things start happening, well, maybe we should figure out what the hell to do then. Unless you want to have military on Highway 1 and on streets like Hastings, Kingsway, King George Highway, at all the different bridges, Lionsgate Bridge, Second Narrows Bridge, right? Who knows? Who knows? What else is here? Along with that, provide roadmap for the Strategic Planning Committee to design an effective way of transitioning Canadians to meet an unprecedented economic endeavor. Well, you know what? They are crashing the economy. If anyone thinks things are just going to get back to normal in regards to the economy, you're sorely mistaken. That's just not possible. And it's not going to be possible if we have a second major lockdown and a third major lockdown, according to this leaked info, if it's real, right? I like to be logical, but I like to look at things that could happen because it could happen. That's why. Nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. So I'll read the chat stuff in a minute, guys. I'm just going to go through this information here. Almost done. I just wanted to get this out here. I've had this for a little while. And I don't like to just, oh, look at this. Look what I found. I don't want to be one of those, Q guys or whatever you think of Q. I like to be, I like to have a little bit of footing to stand on before I'm like, look at this. Obviously, this is still a little bit before the fact, but I think it's important to show this stuff. Okay, so here it goes. What we're told was that in order to offset what was essentially an economic collapse on an international scale, the federal government was going to offer Canadians a total debt relief. This is how it works. The federal government will offer to eliminate all personal debt, mortgages, loans, credit cards, etc., which all funding will be provided to Canada by the IMF. So if that's the case, and we're going to get mortgage relief by the IMF, we're going to be under the control of the International Monetary Fund. If you've seen what they've done in other countries, basically you are a slave to them. As a country, we're going to owe all this billions of dollars to the IMF, and then they can essentially dictate exactly what we do in order to be able to be part of their program. This is on an individual basis. They're going to call this the World Debt Reset Program. Just like Justin Trudeau has discussed 2 days ago, the Great Reset, and how he thinks it's awesome in order to implement the Agenda 21, Agenda 30 programs. Look it up. This is real. He said it himself live on video. In exchange for acceptance of this total debt forgiveness, the individual would forfeit ownership of any and all property and assets forever. This is where you can say maybe this is conspiracy theory. It could be, right? I don't know, but I'm still going to read it because it could happen. The individual would also have to partake in COVID-19 and COVID-21 vaccination schedule, which would provide the individual with unrestricted travel and unrestricted living even under a full lockdown through the use of photo identification referred to as Canada's Health Pass. Once again, this makes sense if you know about the mark of the beast, where you cannot buy or sell with that. So they will get you in that. If you're in debt, well, they're going to get you by the balls, apparently, from this leaked email. Is it true? It does make sense to me. We're going to have to see if it comes to fruition. But this is one way that makes sense, that all the people don't want to take the vaccine, and they probably know there's going to be a lot of them. Well, you got all this debt, you can't pay it back. If you're willing to give up everything and start fresh, we'll wipe your slate clean, but you have to be willing and agree to be taking the COVID-19 and COVID-2021 vaccination in order to keep you and your fellow Canadians from getting this deadly virus. Is it possible? Seems possible to me. We're going to find out. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't think so. Something's going to happen. This whole thing is not going to go away the way a lot of people think it's temporary. There's no way that's going to happen. Committee members asked who would become the owner of the forfeited property and assets in that scenario. What would happen to lenders or financial institutions? We were simply told the World Debt Reset Program will handle all of the details. Okay. Is it showing there? Like, why is it not showing? One second here. I want to try to share that screen again. Chrome tab. See if I can do that one. Still doesn't do it. Why? One more time. I'd like you guys to see this and make it more, not entertaining, but more interesting. Sharing this tab to Restream. But it's not sharing the effing tab. Okay, well, it's going to continue reading it. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but anyways, here, let me just see. Anyways, here, several committee members also question what would happen to individuals that refuse to participate in the World Debt Reset Program or the Health Pass or the vaccination schedule. And the answer we got was very troubling. Essentially, we were told it was our duty to make sure we came up with a plan to ensure that whatever happened, we were told it was in the individual's best interest to participate. When several committee members pushed relentlessly to get an answer, we were told that those who refused would first live under the lockdown restrictions indefinitely. So if you don't want to get vaccinated, you're going to live under these lockdown restrictions indefinitely. This is something that makes sense to me, right? Mark of the beast stuff. And that over a short period of time, as more Canadians transitioned into the debt forgiveness program, the ones who refused to participate would be deemed a public safety risk and would be relocated into isolation facilities. Does this make sense to people? This does make sense to me because, and obviously all of this hasn't come to fruition, but you can see even with the masks, they don't want you to go into Costco now and all these different places. Mandatory mask will equal mandatory vaccines. And obviously we're not going to be able to get into these different establishments when vaccines are available. Of course, the vaccine's available. Please take it so you can get on with your daily life. They're squeezing us. They're making us so desperate. That's why this whole thing has been going on for 9 months. Part of the reason. And then come early 2021, hey, guys, Moderna's came out with this RNA vaccine with a nanotechnology. Please take it so you can get back to your regular life. We can keep everybody safe. I don't want to get the vaccine. Well, you're not going to be able to participate in any regular life duties as a result of that. So you're going to stay at home. You can go outside, but you're not going to be able to interact with people in large crowds. You can't fly, no concerts. But eventually, you're still not wanting to get the vaccine. As you can see, it's been proven effective here. COVID's gone, this and that. If you don't want to do that, unfortunately, you're a public safety risk. And we apologize, but you are going to have to be taken to an isolation facility until you choose to take this vaccine. Well, why do I have to take a vaccine if everybody else has taken it? How am I a risk to public health, officer? I don't know. I'm just following orders. Please come with us. I don't want to come with you. Okay, well, we're going to handcuff you. This is a public health order you have to follow for the safety of all Canadian citizens, or you're a public health risk. Will this happen? Seems logical, could happen, right? We don't know for sure. We're going to find out real soon. These are the last months of all this rolling out after 25 years of me knowing about it. Here we are. Wow. Unbelievable, right? Unfucking believable. So if you think it's a conspiracy theory, like I said, I've said it to a few people, you got a few more months that you can keep your head in the sand. Either I'm going to look like the idiot who made YouTube videos walking around in a hazmat suit, screaming the sky is falling, stating that we would be locked up eventually, or everything comes to fruition and all the normies are going to shit their pants. I don't know which one it is. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope I'm just an idiot in a hazmat suit. If I'm not, I'll be the first to admit it, but I don't know. It's not looking good. We're going to find out soon. It's coming right down to crunch time. 2,000-year-old biblical prophecy has been laid out for us, and we're in the last few months of a 2,000-year-old prophecy. So we're in basically the last seconds of a Stanley Cup nail-biting game, and we're wondering who's going to win, humanity or these people trying to take total control over us. Gonna find out, aren't we? We're gonna find out. Okay, here. I don't know if I read this part, but one of the facilities, once in those facilities, they'd give you two options: participate in the debt forgiveness program. Here's the problem: how about if I don't have any debt? How about if I don't have any debt? Then what happens? How about if I'm already self-sufficient? I don't actually need any help from the government. What then? What then? Can I stay home as long as I don't go into stores? Am I going to have that yellow star here stating I'm the guy who's not vaccinated? I just wonder what's going to happen then. I really do, because that affects me personally. And then it says here, or you stay indefinitely in the isolation facility under the classification of a serious serious public health risk and have all of your assets seized. Like I said, if I don't have any debt, what are they going to seize my assets for? After you can imagine, after hearing all of this, it turned into quite the heated discussion and escalated beyond anything I've ever witnessed before. In the end, it was implied by the Prime Minister's office that the whole agenda will move forward no matter who agrees with it or not. That it won't just be Canada, but in fact, all nations will have similar roadmaps and agendas. That we need to take advantage of the situations before us to promote change on a grander scale for the betterment of everyone. How is it that the betterment of everyone getting vaccinated from a virus that has an over 99.60% survival rate, like I said, that affects people over 80 with underlying issues in care homes? This is a large majority of the people who are dying from this. Really strange, right? Why do we have to do this? And why do we have to take a vaccine that's been in testing for 9 months, when Most vaccines take 9 years, but they've already, starting the last 4 days, Pfizer and Moderna both came out and stated they've had over 90% success rates already. Wow. Well, my immune system has an over 99.9% success rate. That's the only thing I want to use is my immune system. Can I do that? Not according to the supposed leaked article. Now, am I saying this is real for sure? No, I'm not, because I don't want to be labeled a conspiracy theorist. But I don't mind looking at alternative information, because if enough of this stuff comes to fruition, I'm going to have to change my game plan. And I suggest everybody else does the same. Nothing wrong with reading stuff that doesn't come true. This is called research. This is what people who create vaccines do. They research stuff and they use that information to come to a conclusion of which way to go with the vaccine. Doing the same thing here, researching information so I can make an informed decision of which way to go with my life. Nothing wrong with that, but that's what they label conspiracy theorists. People who research information, sometimes they're wrong, lots of times they're right. They're considered crackpot individuals. I don't know what you think about me, but I think it's important to look at all sides of the equation, put all that information together, spit out the data from my mind, and then I make my own conclusion of what the fuck is right and what doesn't make sense. And I'll tell you right now, what doesn't make sense, everything we're living in makes no sense. And if this leaked information is real, we're in for a world of hurt, especially the normies who think we're just off our rockers, because they're going to be the least prepared for any shit coming down the pipeline. Please take this with a grain of salt. Please understand, I'm just relaying this information. Do with it what you will. Doesn't mean it's going to happen 100%. I'll put a link to this actual PDF file so you can read it for yourself. Now, to all the censorship and all stuff like this, I'm not saying this is going to come to fruition for sure, but there's nothing wrong with me sharing something that might not happen. Is there something wrong with that? In this day and age, apparently there is. Okay, so the members who were opposed and ones who brought up key issues that would arise from such a thing were completely ignored. Our opinions and concerns were ignored. We were simply told to just do it. All I know is that I don't like it, and I think it's going to bring Canadians into a dark future, aka dark winter that Joe Biden keeps spewing off on. So there we go, guys. Please share this. Hopefully you have been sharing this information. I'll check your information. I'll check the comments in a minute. I just want to see if it's being shared, if it's live on Facebook. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it is. Please recap. Well, I can't recap everything. Basically, I'll put a link. I'll put the link right here, actually. I'll put this link directly on my Facebook as a comment directly into this live video that I'm viewing right here. 59 shares. Thank you so much, guys. Much, much, much appreciated. Thank you. Now, so what are we going to do about this if it's true? Well, I suggest you start preparing. This is where it starts to get tinfoil hatty, but not really. Stock up on food, stuff that you would eat, canned goods. Nothing wrong with this. If none of this comes to fruition, guess what? It's going to be a couple less trips to Costco or wherever you shop. Just stock up on all the food, anything that you can freeze and stuff like that. Nothing wrong with that. If you think I'm stupid for preparing for something that might happen, well, then you're really, honestly, you're an idiot. And that's okay. I'm used to taking heat and people making fun of me and whispering behind my back. So that's what you do. If you have any debt, if you can pay off your debt, as always, it's important to pay off your debt. For me, I don't really have any debt. Not because of this, but I just don't like to have debt. I don't have any credit card debt, no mortgages, and nothing like that. Well, I do have 2 condo mortgages, but if I want to, I can pay that off anytime I want. So if something happens that I need to pay that off, I definitely will. But if you're over leveraged, I don't know, maybe think of selling certain properties. Like, I don't know what to do. You can do whatever you want. This is just me thinking what I would do. I would pay off any debt I could. If I couldn't pay it off, maybe what I would do is sell it. I don't know. I don't really know what to do. We're going to have to find out. Maybe none of this stuff happens. It seems pretty crazy, but all I have to do and tell myself is look at the last 9 months. When nobody ever thought we'd be living in the scenario that we're living in. So what's in that supposed leaked information could happen, in my opinion, but it hasn't. So I'm going to start reading the comments now real quick. Okay. Criminal charges for Donkey Henry. Yeah, well, only if you have money of your own can you keep out of the culling. Well, luckily for me, I do have that. Not trying to brag, but just, I've worked hard and been able to have enough, thank God. Figure things out, guys. If you start seeing some of these steps happen, like I said, maybe sell your house and move up north somewhere cheaper. I don't know. Figure out your own solution. This is going to be an all individual approach on this part. Obviously, if enough of this information does actually happen, we're going to have to start protesting, marching. I don't know. Like, when are people going to start understanding what's going on and get off the fucking couch? Even the people that know what's going on refuse to come out to the marches. Most of my friends know what's going on, but they still don't come out. Am I saying marching and protesting is the be-all, end-all? Of course not, but it's something to keep your spirits up. It's something to help, because the media and the people in government will see hundreds of thousands of people out there. So I don't know. I don't know what the actual, all the different solutions. I'm just spitting out stuff that does make sense. Go out. Show support for people. Show support for yourself. Become more self-sufficient. Start warning people. And we'll hope for that. We'll hope it works out. I have plenty of patience. The world, as we knew it, will all be finished. Well, it's already getting that way. Why kill the population to save the population? Well, these people are eugenicists. They're Satanists. That's what their goal is. Agenda 21 is all about that. Agenda 30. It's all about self-sustainable. Or a sustainable society, right? We have to live in coffin apartments, give up all of our rights, give up our cars and everything to save planet Earth, when really there's more than enough planet Earth going around. We're all stuck in these compact cities, when in reality we don't really need to do that. But they're doing that because they have more control over us if we're in highly densely populated areas. All part of Agenda 21. High rises everywhere. The price of real estate has skyrocketed so that no one can even afford a single family home. I got nothing against condos as long as it's not used to herd us into cities for some nefarious reasons. That's the problem I have. Hello, brother. How are you? The Luciferian NWO is doomed, and yes, I do agree with you. They are doomed. This is the death throes of a cult of scumbags. They already doing the travel, interprovincial travel is locked down. They definitely are, Charity. They definitely are, as Horgan stated this morning, right? So that is part of the leaked information that I've had since late October coming out. It's only the beginning of that plan. We have a lot of information in that leaked information, so we have a lot of stuff to go back to and see if it actually all happens. If enough of it happens, we will have to look at that plan and start planning ourselves. What the hell are we all going to do? Flu World Order. Yeah, that was from Jeff Berwick. I saw that on BitChute. They just extended it 2 more weeks. What did they just extend 2 more weeks? I didn't see them extend anything 2 more weeks. Who World Order? We World Order. Yeah. So they'll arrest me if I go to Alberta. This is illegal. They're just talking. It's more like a recommendation right now, but recommendations tend to become bylaws or enforceable mandates, health mandates down the road. So you probably have a few more weeks until all of a sudden they'll say, Dr. Bunny, cases are still rising, and we've determined that it's coming from people not following health orders or health suggestions not to go to Alberta and not leaving the province. So we're going to have to crank it up, and now it's a law, it's a bylaw, it's a health mandated emergency act order that you cannot cross into Alberta. If you're found in Alberta, you will be charged, arrested possibly, and or fined. These are things that can happen easily. If everyone's been paying attention, like all of you have, you can understand what's going to happen because, of course, we've been seeing it all roll out for the last 9 months, right? 2 weeks equals 9 months in the 1984 world. Trump had the same, and the military is ready. Yeah, I know. That's why I don't put all my faith in Trump either. Why do you need the military to vaccinate all of the United States, 330 million people, for a virus that has a 99.60% survival rate? Doesn't make sense to me. But some people think, oh, that's just code word for Q. It's code word for Q. Yeah, I don't know about Q and all your dreams of mass arrest and all these indictments. We'll see what happens. I don't know everything. I just don't believe it. But maybe I'm wrong, and I could easily be wrong. But that whole pipe dream is coming down to the end. He's got maybe, a month or two? When he gets back into power, what are these Q people going to say? Oh, it's going to be another 6 months. He's got to make sure everything's all his T's are dotted and his T's are crossed and his I's are dotted. Like, give it up. Stop trusting the plan and make your own fucking plan. That's the way I see it. If it happens, great, but just start making your own plan. Bottom line, there's going to be millions of people that won't be slaves to this worldwide. We need to continue to stick together and eventually make our own Western civilization. Yes. Lockstep plan. Yes, from Rockefeller. Lockstep plan from 2010. If it's essential, you can do it, but it's not essential. Travel. Well, what the hell is essential? For work, I guess. That's one. This is BS. They have to arrest me then? Well, we'll see. The thing is, I don't understand this whole thing with the camps and stuff like that. Like, they're not going to be able to hold 100,000 people in Vancouver in these supposed camps. That's why some of the stuff seems a little bit odd to me, and I'm like, well, if they're really going to have these things that are for people like you and me, they need like a lot of people in there, like a lot of space, unless they're just going to gas chamber everybody. Like, I don't know. Some of the stuff does seem far-fetched. Start with civil disobedience. The thing is, we could all stop this whole thing, non-compliance. Stop wearing masks, open up your business, and that's it. Just go about your daily life. Costco doesn't want to let people with masks? Fine, we're fucking done. No one's going to go there then, or you're going to have 100,000 people at your front doorstep not wearing masks. Everybody just bum rush Costco. Non-compliance. Non-compliance is so easy to do, and people just don't understand it. Interprovincial travel will happen soon, and you will have to have the vax to travel. The vax to travel is going to be next year for sure. Holy shit, there's a lot of comments. So what else can we do to stop this unlawful awfulness? Non-compliance is the easiest thing to do, and just keep talking. Information is key. I'll stand up for my freedoms to my death, as will I. I read it. It is official documents. All acts and statements confirms it. Christopher, we will see. I'm leaning more towards your side. I just need some more rounds. Oh my God. We don't want to talk about that. USMC will hold Canadian government accountable for corruption and crimes against humanity. This is where the Q thing comes in. I hope this happened. I'm not going to put all my eggs in this basket and just wait for the fucking plan. George, hopefully it does happen. I pray it does. In the meantime, please protect yourself and move forward with your own plans. Please do not rely on the United States Marine Corps to help us take over the Canadian government. I just don't know if that's going to happen, in all honesty. Okay, I hope it happens. I hope things just work out nice and smooth. Don't know, but I will prepare. I always keep my ear to the ground. Don't know if that will happen. I've heard that many, many times. Not really sure about that scenario. No travel between provinces with no vax. Early December. That's not no travel between provinces. Yes, they've already talked about that. The vax thing, unless it's not going to come until 2021. So it's not that part. It won't happen this year, but it will happen next year. World communism, Chris says yes. It's all in the agendas. Klaus Schwab confirms it all. Yeah, that guy's a piece of garbage. Trump is the biggest threat to the NWO. I hope so. I think he is, but I just don't know because of Operation Warp Speed where he wants to vaccinate everybody. I don't know. We'll see though, right? What other comments do we have here? NWO's toast already being defeated. You're watching the remnants hold out, hanging on. I agree with that. This is their death throes, but hopefully the masses of asses wake up. I'm thinking they will. I'm sure most people don't want to get vaccinated, but I'm sure most people don't want to lose their houses, and they might take the vaccine in order to lose their house and stuff. But the thing is, I don't know. It just seems weird. So either you get vaccinated and all this stuff, or they're going to take everything you have. Well, they're going to take everything you have anyway, because you're not going to own anything, even if you do get vaccinated. So I don't understand how that scenario plays out. That part doesn't make sense to me. And then you're going to have to keep getting vaccinated in order to have all your debt forgiven, in order to get universal basic income. Well, couldn't you just find another job? I don't know. Some of this stuff is that's why I don't, you know what I mean? I don't believe everything 100% unless it completely happens. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Agenda 2030 states that in year 2030, people will own nothing and be happy about it. I know Klaus Schwab, I think he said that phrase, and there's also a video about it. So these people want us broke, completely broke, and we're going to be happy. Scumbags, just pure scum. World Economic Forum, for my normie friends who are watching this laughing at me, look it up. World Economic Forum. Klaus Schwab is the head of the World Economic Forum, and he's the one who talks about the Great Reset. And now you see those same exact phrase being reiterated by Justin Trudeau. Look it up. I know you won't, because you just think I'm a crackpot. If you're actually still even watching this video. The vax will make you sterile. Yes, part of the population control agenda probably is true. Yes, I do agree. Weird. Every time I post something, I get booted off the video. Oh, that is odd. I still see your comments popping in. We are fucked. I don't know about that. There's still way more of them. Way more of us than there are of them. Psychiatry is really about breaking down the psyche. It's the same you do to prisoners of war. Yes, we are prisoners of war. What is happening now made a lot more sense to me when I was researching, polling what really happened. It's a big deal because what happened and what the world believes decades later is much, much different. Quite troubling. End times. Woot woot, I'm going to the facility. Oh my God, no. I don't want anyone going to those facilities. It has a happy ending, Christine. God wins. Yes, Dan, God does win. Thank God I've already been to over 100 concerts. I don't care about concerts. They can shove it up their ass. Most media is propaganda, including the musicians. All garbage. Those music videos are disgusting. Holy geez, so many comments. I'm not going to read all of them. This would take forever. I'm just going through one. I think at this point we can trust that the cabal and that they have our best interests in mind. Yeah. Sure, if you want to be enslaved forever and get injected with stuff that you don't even know what the hell's in it, well, nanotechnology. After all, they want to kill most of us. Yes, they do. According to the Georgia Guidestones, 500 million people keep in perpetual harmony with nature, they state. So most of us have to get wiped off this planet according to their goal list. We are useless meat eaters. The rest are useless vegans. So I put that link. You can actually see that link right there if you want to follow it. I'll leave that there for a minute. But I put that in the chat on Facebook. Click it, share, share, share. If you haven't seen it, you can download that as well and save it to your local drive for future reference down the road. Please look at that link. It has everything we need according to what they've stated. Is that all going to happen? Don't know, but some of it is happening already, so I wouldn't doubt it. Great Reset. How do we prepare? Kind of went through that already. Should have already been stocking up on water, food, and ammo, but that's just me. Yeah, I've got the food part. Water, well, we're in Vancouver, so we just put a big bucket, and we have a lot of water here. That's one thing we don't have to worry about in Vancouver is water. Lots and lots and lots of water. That's one thing I simply don't have to worry about. Watch that summit tomorrow, no, at $99. Yeah, that's from Jeff Berwick. Yeah, Dollar Vigilante. I watch his videos every day. I'm part of his crypto vigilante group, which has been benefited from as well. You all would not believe that Canadian peeps will have to go through this to believe. Yeah, well, up to a point. I'm sure they don't want to. they don't want to lose everything, but there's going to be a point. I think the mandatory vaccine thing is going to be a big shocker to a lot of people. Canned food stays for 5 years. I heard it expires after 2, but yeah, I figure 5 years. So yeah, get canned foods. Nothing wrong with that. Buy stuff that you're going to eat anyway, so nothing wrong with that. I don't see a problem recommending buying canned food. Oh, chair went down. Anyways, yeah, let's keep going here. Why pay off debt? I don't know. Pay off debt because then they don't have a stranglehold on you, stating that if you want to be part of their debt forgiveness program, you're going to have to give up all your properties and also get vaccinated. But if you don't have any debt, then they don't have anything to hold in front of you to make you a prisoner of their debt relief system, part of the Great Reset, debt reset, whatever they call it. I found out my mother just gave us $1,000 cash for Christmas this year, so we will placing it in safe. Oh, that's a good idea. Peaceful protest makes no difference. Yeah, well, that's all we're going to do right now. I'm not going to get into other stuff, that's for sure. Listen, we the like-minded need to take over one province and build a wall. Yeah, easier said than done. Just going through the comments here, they want to kill our spirit from taking freedom away from us. They would be happy if we killed ourselves from the depression from this lie. Well, a lot of people have killed themselves. I know one guy, barber's friend up the street, my son's barber's friend up the street, he did kill himself as a result of losing his business. So I know it's probably a lot of people that have done this. Not a conspiracy theory. Trump is Satan. Don't know if he is or not. We're going to find out if he's part of the plan, trust the plan, or he's part of the NWO plan. Still doubting trust, still doubting Trump. Well, we'll find out. I doubt everything until I see it come to fruition. That whole warp speed thing with Trump is a little bit nerve-wracking, and Trump is just stalling everything. Trump has funded everything, Agenda 21, and Gates vax more than anyone. Okay, so what's this say? I just called a public health officer on Vancouver Island who is suggesting that all visitors to Vancouver Island quarantine for 14 days. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So what? If I start going into downtown Vancouver, I come back to North Vancouver, am I going to have to be isolated for 14 days? Like, when does this bullshit end? I asked them what they expect to do for parents that come over and visit their kids on the weekend. I'm waiting for a call back. Q is like those cults that always have a date when a comet is coming, etc. The date always gets moved. Well, yeah, they said Clinton was going to get arrested. That was back in 2016. I was listening to Q a little bit back then, and it's never happened. So after that, I said, you know what? I'm not going to follow this stuff. It just to keep kicking the can down the road. I don't know if it's real or not anymore. I don't have any faith in anybody except for me and what I see in front of my eyes. We will see. We will see if it comes to fruition. I don't know. People hoping it happens, good. That's good to have hope. But in the meantime, please prepare. Trump did not want the damn vaccine. He wanted them to use hydroxychloroquine and zinc. They just pushed him to get those vaccines going. This is true. This is true. I know he wanted them to use HCQ. We will see. Probably right, though. I'm just pretty sure that that's happening. Heard about COVID-21 a while ago on debt release program. So people will vaccinate. In the UK, they are processing the law that won't allow anti-vaxxers to work. Yeah, I know. No jab, no pay. I know. Probably going to happen here. Let me see here. Lots of Betty Ann. They won't allow us. They won't get us all. We are building our own community. Well, that's awesome. Hi, Betty Ann. How's Marco doing? Good to see you on board here. We must buy silver then, no crypto. Well, I could buy silver, yeah. Long list of what Trump has done. All 6 Gates vaccines, FEMA, 5G, and has never spoken about Agenda 21, Gates, or the reset. It says if they cull the global population, oddly, then people who would be left would be people like us who didn't take the vax or wear a mask. Yeah, thought about that too. Who knows? Very hard to navigate all this misinformation. Well, that's why you take everything with a grain of salt. You see if some of it comes to fruition. Some of it you have to wait for and just use your best judgment. Certain things like stocking up on food, well, I don't see a problem with that. You're always going to eat food, regardless, right? If it's canned food, and like the other guy was saying, the last 5 years, you got a lot of time to eat that food. The expiry date on the cans I bought are 2 years. So I got 2 years to eat that canned food. It just means one less trip to the store. There's nothing wrong with doing that kind of stuff. I don't see any problem whatsoever. Weed out the weak. I don't know. Who knows? Of course, all we see is overhype and manufactured cases. PCR tests and DNA collection database is stored in China by CCP, Chinese Communist Party, right? So I don't know. We're going to see exactly what comes to fruition. I'm just putting it out there. So we'll see what happens. I'm not really sure. But the shares, that was pretty cool. I appreciate all that. You know what, guys? I'm probably going to wrap it up now, but I wanted to share that thing. But the leaked email is in my Facebook thing, so please share that. I shared it in budget groups. We'll see what happens. We don't know everything because we're not there. Anybody who thinks they know the whole plan is impossible unless you're an insider. We can read all the information we want and just try to splice information together to come up with a smart conclusion, right? We don't know, though. We just don't know. It's like, it's like anything. If you're actually not there in the room with these people, we don't know 1,000%. But what we do have is something that we can look at, and maybe it comes to fruition, maybe not. All I do know is nothing happening this year makes sense. That's what I know from the last 9 months. So that's why keeping an open mind, especially after 9 months of this bullshit, is a smart thing to do. Don't be like this, like everybody I know, close blinders. Oh, they never lied to us. The media, why would they lie to us? They're just trying to protect us. They're not going to be doing that. We have to trust them. Everything's going to get back to normal. Wear your mask and hope for the best. It's your fault you're not wearing a mask, and it's because you had a party with 2 people and this and that. Living in fear clouds your judgment. I know that for a fact. Living in fear clouds your judgment. So if you can be more open-minded and just realize that some of this stuff might not happen, some of it will. A lot of this stuff doesn't make sense. Nanotechnology for a vaccine for a virus that has a 99.60% survival rate. Does it make sense to you? Are you going to take a vaccine and then you can't fly? These are things that are logical. These are very logical things. So even all this stuff of the leaked information doesn't come to fruition. Are you still going to get a vaccine for a virus that has a 99.60% survival rate? Certain things you can get in there like those Q people and figure out the puzzle and all this bullshit. Look at the big picture. Look at the implementations of the big stuff. We don't need this vaccine because the virus is, it affects old people. We know the statistics. We know the data. Old people in care homes, right, with underlying issues. So why are they doing what they're doing? Ask yourself those big, big, big questions. Don't get in the fucking minuscule details. It's useless information. Oh, look, Trump did a Q and this. Who fucking cares? Doesn't matter. It's bullshit. He's not saying any smoke signals and all this shit that you think is happening. And if it does happen, I will eat my words, right? Of course I will. Big picture, it doesn't make sense. Something nefarious is going on. We just don't know the exact 1,000% timeline. This is a guideline that might help us. It might not. But we will see. We know the big plan doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, there must be something else going on. That's how I look at things. I like to view things from way up there. And then from there, I try to make my plans. I don't need to know every little detail of their plan in order for me to understand that something is not legitimately not right with what's going on here. That's what I'm going to say. And I will never change that because that, to me, is 1,000% logical. The sheeple think it's a deadly virus, so they're waiting for a vax. Yeah, that could be the biggest mistake they ever take in their life. And I've said it many times. You want to wear a mask, go ahead and do it until the cows come home. When it comes to that, taking that shot could be the last thing you ever do. Or at least it'll be, it's going to make you sterile, or, you're going to have nanotechnology in you. Like, what the hell are you doing regardless of if you believe this is a real virus or not? You want something new that's going to be there forever. You actually trust them with something that's going to be interacting with the internet, wireless signals coming from your body forever. You would really risk that. Some things are just clear cut. Those are one of them for me. Doesn't make sense. Does not make sense, and it will never make sense ever at all. Anyways, you know what? I am going to wrap it up. I do appreciate people coming on here. So many people midday, 2:32 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon, November 18th, 2020. Really appreciate that, guys. Let's share this information. Keep sharing it. I'm going to share it as well. All we can do is have our backs. Start coming to the marches. I'm probably going to go there this weekend. There's a big one coming December the 5th, the Christmas march. Please come to that. But in all honesty, every single week should just be a march. As this progresses, this timeline continues, the ridiculousness of this continues. You know, I stopped going to most of the marches all throughout the summer because not much was happening. I knew I would be back because I knew in the winter, they already said wave 2. I knew I'd be back in the winter marching and doing the stuff because they were going to just start tightening the screws in the winter months. I knew that was going to happen, but I took some time off from all that stuff because, you know, I don't want to live and breathe this crap, but they're making us live and breathe this crap because it's getting pushed constantly all day long. There's not much else we can think about. Here's my channel, bitchute.com/Real Truth Report. If I ever do get kicked off of YouTube, please, guys, understand, all you need to do is go to Google, type in Real Truth Report, no spaces, and all my other social media platforms will pop up. I suggest you follow me everywhere from Parler, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. I'm on Odyssey.com, LBRY.TV, MeWe.com, and everything underneath the sun. I'm everywhere like the virus, supposedly. I spread like a virus. Right? I'm the COVID-19 of online YouTubers. I'm everywhere, and I do that purposely. So if I get shut down one place, I'm like a cockroach. You can't stamp me out. I'm everywhere on purpose, and I spread this information as much as I can. I'm actually even on Twitch now, I think. Twitch.tv/Real Truth Report, and everywhere else. I'm like, seriously, I'm everywhere on purpose. I'm doing this for a reason. I don't want my face out there, but I feel like I don't have any other choice in the matter. And like I said, I hear from the grapevine people making fun of me, thinking I'm a fucking nut job. These are people, I'm not going to start knocking down people, but they're just making fun of me when they have no idea what's going on. But they know just as much as me because they've watched the 10 minutes of news and shit like that. Like friends of friends and stuff. Like, buddy, you should be quiet. You don't know what the fuck's going on. We're trying to help people. Or so we think. Maybe we're just a bunch of tinfoil hat idiots, right? I appreciate that, Chris. Thanks for liking my show. I am on other platforms. I am set up. I've been on MeWe since the start. I have 6 groups, 4,000 members. I shut it down, made a small group specifically for all of this subject. Awesome. If they get you, you are done. Yeah, well, I know that. Come out to the art gallery December 5th at 1 p.m. for the Christmas Freedom March and event. All kids are welcome. That's right. And just not even just that though, guys. Come every weekend. These marches need to get bigger. And I know people are saying it just doesn't matter. It doesn't really make a difference. Listen, you meet a lot of like-minded people, so you don't think you're crazy. But the normies think, well, you're just hanging out with other crazy people. That's what you want to think. That's fine. The point of it is just to make the marches bigger. The VPD understands what's going on. They never give us fines, even though they can, because we're in large groups of people, usually over 300 to a couple thousand, whatever the hell it is. They never give us fines. They never, ever have at all, ever. Why? Because they understand what's going on. For the most part, they realize that they cannot do anything based on the Charter of Rights, and we are allowed to congregate. It's one of the Charter of Rights. So forth. Anyways, you know what? I am going to wrap it up, even though I said I was a second ago. Things got to change. The only way it's going to happen is through us. I don't know. I don't know how this whole story ends in 2021. Maybe I'll be dead by then. I don't really know. Probably not. I hope that enough people understand what's going on and we can stop what's going to happen. Like, if you don't believe anything I said in the Real Truth Report show today, remember just one thing. Does it make sense to take a vaccine for a virus that has over a 99.60% survival rate? And if your answer is no, it doesn't make sense, then ask, why are they doing all of this for this virus that supposedly kills old people over 80 years old with underlying issues, all coming from care homes? Does it justify their response worldwide for this? If your answer is no to that, then you have to ask yourself, none of this makes sense. Then you have to say, well, if it doesn't make sense, why are they doing it? Are they making such massive mistakes and that's why it doesn't make sense? Or is something else going on here? Are the tinfoil hatters actually right? And I'm going to leave you with that. This is for the people, the normies who want to laugh and point fingers and make fun of people like me. We'll see who's laughing next year. We're going to see who's laughing next year. I don't know how it all ends, but I know it's going to end one way or another. Bring common sense back. Totally. Anyways, that's it. It's done. 2:38 p.m. I don't know how long I've been talking. It probably looks like it's been a while. Right? How long has it been? An hour and 20 minutes. Well, it's shorter than the last one I did on this thing. It was 2 hours and 10 minutes. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate everyone tuning in on a Wednesday afternoon. I'm sure you have other places you'd rather be than discussing and thinking about this crap, but really there's nothing else to discuss and think about, in my opinion. I know a lot of people still don't think about this. They just brush it off. Oh, let the experts, this and that. That's a grave mistake in this time in our lives, let me tell you. Anyways, all the best. Share. Stay strong, stay smart. Don't stay safe. Nothing to stay safe from except from lying media and tyrannical governments. That's it. Signing off. 3, 2, 1, 0, gone.